Hi. Apparently I can't talk this morning because this is like the fifth time I've introduced myself. Hi. Leslie here. I am just gonna get straight into this video because I don't have time to waste. I lost 50 kilos, okay? I lost 50 kilos. I've been through quite a few different transformations in my appearance over the years, and the main one being over the last year and a half losing 50 kilos. I was 120 kilos and I have a video already on my channel about that. It's called I Lost 50 Kilos. Crazy. But today I wanted to talk about how to lose the weight. And I'm saying it very directly because I wanted to not gatekeep any of this information. I'm just going to tell you how I did lose the 50 kilos because the last one was kind of like about my backstory and showing you the entire process, but I actually have dot points that I'm going to briefly touch on today that will hopefully help you if you are on this journey or if you want to lose the weight. I got 4 dot points that I'm going to go over today. So I hope that you enjoy this video and I hope that it's helpful, and I'm just going to be very straightforward, not going to beat around the bush, and I'm also not a nutritionalist, so take everything that I say with a grain of salt. However, I hope that maybe this will help you as well. I want to say that I really respect the person that I was when I was 120 kilos and I appreciate my body at every stage. I just feel like that is like a really important thing to include. So it takes a lot, okay? It takes a lot for someone to actually gain that much weight, okay? And there is always reasons behind why. For me, I was dealing with PTSD and a few other things, and over the years it just like got worse and worse and worse to the point where I was also dealing with depression and couldn't see a way out of my situation. The emotions that I was dealing with were so intense that I turned to food, and I guess food has always been that thing to fill me emotionally. I don't know how else to explain it. So the first thing is identifying what made you gain the weight, especially if you are constantly in cycles. I found myself constantly in this binge eating loop that it just kind of like was very apparent, and every time that I was in the loop the weight was obviously gaining more and more, but the big trigger was my environment. My environment was very toxic and I was very stuck and I couldn't see a way out. And it actually wasn't until I left the environment did the weight just kind of came off of me. Not really, like it takes a lot of work, but I mean like my environment was causing all of the emotions to be like on my shoulders, and I was really reaching for food to comfort me, because that's what food is, you know. When we don't find the comfort, we reach for outside sources. For some people it's like alcohol, for some people it's blah blah blah, you know what I mean? But for me, and I'm sure that if you're watching this, probably you, that was what was keeping me in that cycle. And so identifying what made me gain the weight was my environment. And once I left, I actually went to New Zealand for a year, and once I was overseas, like the more I was finding myself and the more I was like away from these triggers, I was really able to actually, because I wasn't around these triggers, I guess that I didn't reach for food as much. I had other things that were replacing what I wasn't getting. Like I was making new friendships, and so I had people around me who were genuine people, and that is so important. And we don't realize sometimes that when we don't have these things that like give us what we need, you know, like these basic necessities in life. We reach for these destructive behaviors and then we get stuck in the cycle. So that is point number one. For me, it was identifying what was triggering me to gain the weight, and that was my environment, and it was also my PTSD, and I've just started therapy. The next one is really important. I think that all of these points that I have are pretty important, but this one is taking care of ourselves as we would a child or a pet. Sometimes it's hard to want to look after ourselves because we don't have that sense of worth, especially if you've gained a lot of weight. It's really hard to, you know, look in the mirror and like what you see. And one of the things for me was, if no one's gonna look after me, I need to pretend like I'm looking after like something that I love. Once I had that mindset of I'm going to start loving myself and looking after myself like I would like I would a pet or a child. Once I started looking after myself like that, it was easy to use that mindset to be like, okay, well, I need to do the basic things. I need to feed myself in the morning. I need to be showering, brushing my teeth, washing my hair. I need to be brushing my hair. I need to drink water. You wouldn't let them go without water. You wouldn't not want to look after them. So when you turn that attention to ourselves, you start to kind of have this view of, okay, I just need to just do the basic things. And sometimes doing the basic things is the best way to love ourselves, truly. And once you start doing those things, once you start caring after yourself like you would a child or an animal, you kind of, I don't know if this is like a weird thing, but this is just how I started to view it. You kind of like get into the process of doing it every day. And when you do it every day, you kind of start to get your self-worth kind of goes up and up, because you're slowly treating yourself, you're slowly looking after yourself. It's almost like when you see those videos of like those animals that have just been absolutely mistreated and they've got like mange or whatever it is all over their body, and they look like they're starving and they just look so helpless. And it's almost, and then you see the after video of like a few months later after you've got the love. It's almost like that. It's like this slow process of just looking after yourself, and over time you start to see these little things and you're like, whoa, okay. And yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like a few months down the track and you've built a better relationship with yourself, I'd say. You've shown yourself that you love yourself, and you're probably going to feel a lot better. Sometimes if we don't have love from outside sources, we just have to like use everything that we have left in ourselves, even if it's not much, and we just have to put it on ourselves. So yeah. Point 2, I wrote down loving ourselves as we would a child or an animal. So the next point is, what systems can we put in our daily routine to get us to actually want to move our body? For me, I have this system of waking up in the morning, I brush my teeth, wash my face, put my hair up, throw on like an outfit, put my headphones in, my sunglasses on, grab my key, and I'm out the door. And I just go for a walk. Headphones in, I'm listening to music, and I just go for a walk. It's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long. And that system really sets up my day. And I've also done a few basic things, you know, like brushing your teeth and washing your face. Like you've done a few things. So I have that system. That system actually works really well for me when I was going through depression. I made sure every morning and every night I was brushing my teeth and washing my face. Those two things, that is it. So that was like my that was like the first system that I ever set up for myself. System, habit, sort of the same kind of thing. It's just, for me, the system kind of means like these habits that get you to do like something else kind of thing. So brushing my teeth and washing my face, and then yeah, in the morning my system is I need to just go for a walk. I need to move my body. And honestly, when I lost 50 kilos, okay, there wasn't much like heavy intensity working out. If you've watched that video, my I lost 50 kilos video, you would have seen that like I spoke about how the majority of the time I just was walking. Walking literally helped me lose so much weight. And I love walking. I can listen to my music. I can put an audiobook on. I can just like be out in nature, and I can just, nothing feels so heavy as it does sometimes when you're in your own space for too long. Like nothing matters for like 20 minutes. I'm just walking, I'm just listening to my music, and we're having a good time. And I really need that in the morning. And I've noticed that if I don't move my body in the morning, it takes me so much longer to figure out what I'm even doing with my day. At the moment, I'm dealing with chronic illness, and so I'm inside until my procedure, which is in September. And so I make it a point every single day to get outside. And so yeah, what systems can you put in place to actually make you want to move your body is the third point. Because a lot of the time we don't really want to. You know, what can you do to actually get excited to move your body? You don't have to. If the thought of like going to the gym is horrible for you, find another way of getting yourself in the mindset of wanting to exercise. Very hard to actually want to go to the gym when you're overweight. I'd say, like, when I was 120 kilos, I forced myself into it. I forced myself to go to gym classes, and there was people there that literally had known me before, and that was terrifying. I did it, but like, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, find another way to move your body. If you want to like get like a YouTube video up, put like a 10-minute exercise video from home in the morning on. But the thing is, like, how can you put a system in place to do that every day? Because like at the end of the day, diet and exercise, it's so great, you know, like feeding ourselves with good food and exercising is ultimately how we lose weight, isn't it? It's like, it's so simple, but actually doing it every day is the part that isn't so simple. Like, people are like, why don't you just eat better? And it's like, well, a lot of the time we don't have these systems in place to want to eat better, you know. Moving my body every day has been so important, but I don't move my body in like a really intense way. Sometimes, yes, sometimes I love going running, but it's not like a habit that I don't have a system for running every day. Like, if I wanted to run every day, then I would probably get my clothes ready. I would probably make sure that in the morning I have clothes ready for the afternoon so I can run. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's making sure we're prepared, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, it's preparing to make it so easy to just be like, okay, yep, I'm going for that run. Okay, yep, I'm eating this healthy meal. So I explained that so much. I'm so sorry, but I'm also not sorry because that was my point. So yeah, what systems can you reflect on and put in place every day? This is the last point that I have, and For me, when I thought about why I was going to go on this journey of losing the weight, I didn't have a specific goal in mind, but I knew that I needed to look after myself a lot better. I knew that I still had that hope inside me that wasn't where I was, that wasn't the end of my life. Because for a little while, like, I thought that like that was, like, there was nothing else for me. Yeah, it was very horrible mentally. But there was always this hope that I had that wasn't the end of my story. And when I had that hope, it kind of opened my mind to look at, okay, my life. How do I see myself living my life? Do I really want to spend the rest of my life on earth? Do I really want to spend it unhappy and constantly judging myself in the mirror? Do I want to spend the rest of my life overweight and unhealthy? So I guess that we can take how people judge us out of it, and just direct it on us. And it's like, do I really want to spend the rest of my life feeling like this? Do I? It was so hard. And I feel like it was so much harder being that weight than actually doing something about it. So my last point on how to lose weight is to think about how you want to live your life for the rest of your life. Say you don't give up. Say you decide today that this is the day I decide that I don't want to feel like shit anymore. Because the journey of losing the weight was nowhere near as hard as it was living every day feeling like that. And like I said, I respect who I was at that weight. She was going through a lot. Once I decided, I should say, that I didn't want to feel like that anymore. Yeah, it was hard. It was a hard choice, but every day I decided that I did not want to feel like that anymore. Every single day I got up, and despite what anyone was saying around me, because they were, I got up and I decided that that was not how I was living my life. So I want you to just think about how you want to feel for the rest of your life. Do you want to feel like that? Do you want to wake up every day feeling like you lack energy? It's not even like, yeah, like the how we see ourselves in the mirror, sometimes like we hate ourselves. But it's more so like, do you want to feel like that? Do you want to feel this pressure on your body that makes it so hard to do anything? Do you really want to eat this food that's just constantly making you depressed and like you don't want to like do anything? And like it gives us that comfort for a little bit, but then it goes away. You know, I have not experienced so much satisfaction as I have when eating healthy that I have been. And obviously, like, it's not all the time. Like, I don't think it's really meant to be overly strict, but at the same time, it's like I feed myself good things because I don't want to feel like that anymore. I don't. My life has become a lot better since losing the weight. It has. And I'm not just talking about how people treat me, because that is a whole different conversation. I'm talking about how I feel every day. It feels so good to just jump up out of bed and just like feel alive. I feel so much more alive. Like my eyes, I noticed that there's light in my eyes. I'm fucking crying. Oh my god, I swear, I cry every time. I cry every time I film these videos, oh my god. I'm just very passionate about this. But seriously, like, do you want to feel like that for the rest of your life? The thought of how hard it is to actually be overweight and the health complications that come with it. Like, my doctors wouldn't even put me on contraception because my estrogen levels were so high and I was so unhealthy that, like, they didn't want to add to the damage that I'd already done. And like, it's like, apart from that, it's like all these other things that just being unhealthy, that comes with being unhealthy. And it's like, my last point of how to lose weight is literally, do you want to feel like that for the rest of your life? Because I promise you, you don't. I promise you that waking up every day and eating a fucking healthy meal and looking after myself, there's no food that could compensate for that. And yeah, it took a long time to get here. It took a long time, dude. It took a long time for me to like actually love myself enough to do all of this that I've spoken to you about. It's really hard for me sometimes to think about how much of a struggle it was every day to get out of bed and to just do basic things. And it's really easy for me to see how getting up every day and doing the hard things, doing the things like we don't really want to do, is just like so much easier in the long run, so much more satisfying, you know? Have you ever like had like a really healthy day where you did everything that you needed to do? You know, the thought of like, I've showered, I've brushed my teeth, I ate healthy all day, I exercised, I was outside, I got the sun, and you know, you go to bed and you feel so satisfied. Imagine if you could do that every day. Not even to like the huge extent, because obviously we also have our lives and everything, and I'm not saying that you have to eat healthy all the time, because I don't. But actually doing these things in the long run is so much more satisfying than anything, any substance has ever given me. I'm gonna leave it here. My last point was, do you really want to feel like that for the rest of your life? And just reflecting on, yeah, like how you want to feel every day. I don't know if that's like a good enough point, but for me it was. For me, I was motivated by wanting to just be happy. Because for years I wasn't. Years. And that motivated me. That was a huge motivator. And I guess that point kind of trickles in with the, okay, so if I don't want to live my life like this, I need to start looking after myself like I would a child or an animal. I need to start looking after myself with things like that, because obviously my outside sources weren't providing that. And I need to figure out what's causing it. It's a long process, but it's so worth it. I can tell you right now, as someone who has lost 50 kilos, as someone who is at a weight I never thought I would get down to, and it's not even about the weight, it's not even about the weight. However, I am so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so content. And that really starts to trickle throughout my life. I'm able to bring in so much more love around me. And I'm able to give more love to the people around me as well. Obviously you can do these things when you're overweight as well, but for me it wasn't the case. For me, I was an empty well. I had nothing to give. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. That is all that I really have. And if none of this registered with you, maybe it wasn't for you, but I know for a fact that someone needed to hear one of these points, and so I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Probably gonna be like in the next 2 days, So if you're watching this, there will be another video in 2 days from now. Okay.